all those tractors, you know. Yeah, for a while there, it was child labor to me, you know. We kind of delivered hay bale that they had on their farm to the different farms around there. But, you know, that was part of the requirements of being at that group home. They required us to do that, you know. And if you did, well, you know, you get punished, which was what? All right, so they had like a big old stack of logs stacked up in a trail. So punishment was you carry one log all the way and start stacking it all the way over here, and you get done with that stack. You get done with that? All right, great. Move the logs back over here. So that was the punishment, you know, and sometimes it's the winter time, so you're out there in the cold back and forth. And that's the punishment, you know. Well, that was my first experience with going to a school which was predominantly white and not in the cities. And I learned about their culture, which was a lot more different, you know. I learned that their schools had more money to do home ec class where they could order whatever type of meal they want to cook. They want to cook lobster, steak. Oh yeah, we got money for that. Whereas in the Twin Cities, if you wanted to do home ec, all right, yeah, we're baking today. We're making cakes. What kind of cakes? Oh, just plain yellow cake. You know. Oh, what do you guys? Well, you can't bake that big of a cake because we don't have that much money. So you know, just a small little cake pan, and that's it. You know. Oh yeah, all right, that's it. You know. And we didn't have all those fancy computers. You know, our computers are like kind of like the last generation. The screens were kind of green. You know, and they weren't up to par, but you know, I went to this other school up there, and it's like, wow, everybody's, you know, they got a computer lab, and they got internet on there, and everything's high tech. You know, they got less students to deal with, but then they got more money, and then because of that, their education system's a lot better. You know, the teachers, all the students stay in the one same school throughout, you know, 6th grade through high school, and they have their relationship with the teachers and stuff. So, you know, that's my whole experience with that. And with that, a lot of the kids out there didn't understand the city kids or the multicultural culture that I came from. So they, you know, they was throwing all types of racial slurs at me, you know. And I'm just a city kid trying to find my way around, you know. So that was like my first experience of like really being an outsider of racism, you know. And that kind of tainted me a little bit because I didn't trust a lot of white people because of that, you know, like, oh, what are they thinking about me? You know, they're being nice to me up front, but then behind closed doors, they're thinking something else, and they're saying something else around their group of friends. And it took a while for me to get over that, you know, just because if you live long enough, you know that people are going to talk about you regardless. You know, whether you're doing good or bad, people are going to talk about you. So I kind of got over that, but going back to, you know, being in the justice system, I was going to college, and about maybe 9 years ago, it was a Thanksgiving night. It was really tragic because on this night, we went out celebrating, you know, went out to the clubs, started drinking, hanging out, you know, and my group of friends, you know, this is, the Hmong culture, Thanksgiving is the harvest time, the Hmong New Year. So everybody's out partying and enjoying the holidays. So for me, I went out with my friends, and my friends were still having fights at the clubs and stuff, but I was going to school, but I decided to hang out with them that day. So we went out, lo and behold, there was a fight at the club, at the bar. Drunk people getting at each other, fighting for what? Nothing much. You know, somebody looked at me wrong. Oh, I don't like those guys, you know. So we got kicked out of the club. Me and my friends, we meet up and we, you know, meet up with some other friends. We got into another fight too. And not too bright of us, we decided, all right, let's drop by these guys' house. So we got to their house. And coincidentally, they was just coming home from the clubs. So a fight ensues, you know. We're brawling and, you know, just fighting in the darkness about midnight. It's dark, nobody really sees anything, and then somebody has a knife, somebody gets stabbed. Oh crap, everybody takes off and everybody goes their different direction. And these kids lying down on the ground bleeding, and it's really unfortunate because, he didn't deserve that, and I didn't really feel any animosity towards him. I was just following my friends and not being a leader and being a follower, doing what I thought was right, which was being loyal to my friends. I'm thinking for myself. So, you can't run from the law. You commit a crime, you can't hide. You can go to a different state, but how long can you run? So, I turned myself in that weekend, and I stayed in the county for about 2 years, and being in there, I've seen like so many people come through. People who are homeless coming through the juvenile justice system because they had no place to stay during winter. I've seen people, minorities who didn't speak English too well, come through there for different types of offenses, and they were like pushed right through the system by interpreters and public defenders. And the public defenders told them, we got a deal for you. You sign here, and you can get out within 6 months or a year, and you're free to go home. But this deal ends up being for like, oh yeah, you get out, but then you're on probation for like 10 years. So you're, subject to the justice system for like 10 more years. Whereas some of the things they did weren't really that big of an issue, where they needed to be locked up. They could have got rehabilitated or treated some different way. And then other times I've seen there were people that needed some form of help, And I just, my faith in the system kind of dropped at that point, And I don't like public defenders because I felt that I didn't trust them because I felt that they were working with the prosecutors just to lock people up. Because I kept on seeing this happen over and over again. And a lot of times, these guys who are in there didn't have no education either. They didn't have no GED. And they don't have no GED classes in there for anybody either. You sit in there and you watch TV and you stare at the wall and you keep on thinking about your family and your court case that's going on. So, a lot of minorities came through there. I've seen that. What eventually happened is I got convicted, got sent to prison, spent about 8 years in there, and during that time, I got to know a whole bunch of other cultures, African American, Mexican, Somali. I kind of heard what they were going through too and their frustrations, and kind of seeing what they were missing out coming here, Talked about when I get here, I go to school and people don't want to talk to me, or people, call me names and stuff, wanting me to go back to my country. I get put in ESL classes. It was just a whole bunch of frustrations being caught between two cultures and the education system, and they didn't really have no way to reach out to them because at home the parents are like, well, go to school and then you come home and you're trying to speak your language with your parents and stuff. But at school, you're trying to speak English, trying to fit in, So I kind of seen this, a lot of people just kind of dropping out, not making it to graduation. And, I don't know, I think our education system should be a lot better than that, How come it works for some kids in the suburbs, but it doesn't work for kids in the cities? I thought about that. And the more I thought about it, it was like, it's the whole prison, school to prison pipeline, because in the city, the kids who are causing more trouble get sent to the principal's office, and later on I found out was that they take down statistics, how many kids go to the principal's office? Well, based on that amount, they can determine, all right, so in the future, so and so many kids are going to be going to prison because they're on that path of causing trouble already. So they start planning out the prison